Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah. Now, these peoples who's orchestrating this song, they trying to imply that Yahweh Shah, who they ignorantly call Jesus Christ, was suggesting for your enemy to slap you in your face. And when he slapped you in your face, they were suggesting that he was saying, pretty much, turn the other cheek to all your enemies. Anybody that slap you. You see. But this statement that he made wasn't for just anybody. It was for a specific person, a specific kind of person. So let's check out what he said, starting at verse Matthew chapter 5, 38. He said, ye have heard that it have been said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. 39. But I say unto you that ye resist not evil, but whosoever shall smite thee on thy right cheek, turn to him the other also. Verse 40. For if any man will sue thee at the law. Now we talking. You see, these people don't understand that this thing is dealing with the Israelites. You can't sue nobody at the law. And this is not talking about any kind of law. This is the high priest law. You see, this is the high priest in the temple, his law. The law of Moses, because he said they were sitting in the seat of Moses. So this is the law of Moses he's talking about. Then when you get down to verse 43 in chapter 5 of Matthew, he said, ye have heard that it is have been said, thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thy enemy. Now, that wasn't said nowhere in the Old Testament, to hate thy enemy. So this somebody who don't know what they're talking about. And maybe the Pharisees and Sadducees were saying that, because he said, you have heard and that it have been said. So somebody might have told a lie on the law, because in the law it didn't tell you to do that. So in verse 44 it says, but I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you. And so they trying to put the enemy on everybody. And the enemy ain't everybody. The enemy was love your neighbor and love your enemy. That's your neighbor. That's what it was about. It wasn't about loving the heathen. You can't find nowhere in this place, in this Bible, telling you to love a heathen, a non-Israelite. You're not going to find it. It don't tell you to fight them, but it don't tell you to love them either. You see, nowhere in here going to tell you to love another nation outside of the nation of Israel. Is not going to happen. And this love your enemy was talking about your neighbor, your brother. Leviticus 19:17 talked about, it says, thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor. See, you rebuking your brother. You're not rebuking some heathen out there, because the heathen don't have the law. The heathen don't know anything that got to do with the nation of Israel? This is in Leviticus. Ain't no neighbor being rebuked by the Israelites. Ain't no heathens being rebuked by the Israelites. The neighbor meant your brother. And it talked about an enemy in the law. If your enemy, which is your brother, because you only deal with your brother, lose something, you go give it to him. Just because he's your enemy don't mean you finna do something wrong and take this man ox or his belongings just because y'all getting into it with each other, or he's a adversary at a specific time. And so then you have something on top of that. They saying try Jesus, don't try me. But what did Jesus say if somebody was to try him? Let's see what Jesus said. If somebody think they gonna try him, what would he do? I say, what would Jesus do? See, that's what people don't understand, who they talking about, who they messing with. You better not try Jesus. This is what Jesus said in Luke 19:27. But those mine enemies, which would not that I shall reign over them, bring hither and slay them before me. You see, that's what Yahushua, who they ignorantly call Jesus Christ, how he was operating. Now he ain't fighting the Israelites, or he wasn't fighting the Romans, the Edomites, but he letting you know that his enemies, he gonna have to destroy them, because he ain't just no average guy. He the king of all kings, and it ain't no love your enemy. These people can do what they want to do to you. No, ain't no stuff like that. It just rules to the game. You see, this ain't not the time to fight. Like he told Peter, put your sword down, man. This is not the time to fight them. You see, this is not the... He said, get behind me, Satan. He told Peter, get behind me, Satan. This is not the time to fight. But just know that if you my enemy and you don't want me to reign over you, you is finna be put to death. Just know that. Because this is in red letters. But those mine enemies, which would not that I shall reign over them, bring hither and slay them, meaning kill them before me. So these people that's been raised up in these Christianity, homosexual churches, they misusing the word. Now when you go to Second Corinthians chapter 6, 2 Corinthians chapter 6 lets you know about these enemies. You see, and these other nations. Where we at? Chapter 6. First one. Let me go to 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians 6, verse 17. 2 Corinthians 6, verse 17, it say, "Will come out from among them, and be separate, says the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you." He telling us, come out among these heathens. We don't deal with the heathen, man. Come out from among them. You see, that's what the situation was when it was dealing with the Israelites. But these Christianity peoples will tell you anything, because they are controlled by their father, the devil. These red dragons with this slave plantation Christianity, slave doctrine we call it. Now another point I want to make, let's see here. He's also talked about the brother in 12. Who is thy brother? First of all, because he said your neighbor. Love the neighbor, because that's why he said neighbor first, then he said enemy. Love your enemy, that's your brother. But who is your brother? Now, and is it 40? Let's start at 47. It say, this is in Matthew chapter 12, verse 47. He said, then one said unto him, behold, thy mother and thy brother stand without, desiring to speak with thee. 48. But he answered and said unto him that told him, who is my mother, and who are my brother? You see, it gets deeper than the nation of Israel. 49. He said, and he stretched forth his hand toward the disciples and said, behold, my mother and my brother. Verse 50. For whosoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same is my brother and my sister and mother. You see, so first of all, you got to be from the nation of Israel to get mercy, because that's all that is, mercy and forgiveness. But then, if you're from the nation of Israel, to get that mercy and that forgiveness, you got to be doing the will of the Father, man. You're not finna be just some random Israelite running around here bugged out, and we finna show you kindness and mercy and forgiveness and even deal with you at all if you're not doing the will of the Father. That's why when you go to 2 Corinthians 6 and 17, it's not just for the heathen, it's for the unbelievers. In 14 it says, be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. You see, not only is the heathens who out here worshiping idols that ain't even no God, it's a false God, but these Negroes, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans in modern day time who are Israelites, who out here bugged out doing whatever. We not even allow them to hit you on no cheek. We not even finna be fellowship or being even close to them. You see, it say, come out from among them and be separate. Touch not the unclean thing. So we not even getting close to these peoples. We not even dealing with them on that level. We have to work with them. You know, we have to do certain things that cause us to be in close vicinity with these peoples. But we not dealing with them on that level. We dealing with the individuals that's Israelites that's doing the will of the Father. And the Lord is the goings of man is of the Lord. So those issues, you're not even finna run into those issues, because man's goings is of the Lord. Thus says the Lord in Proverbs 20, 24. Man's goings is of the Lord. Amos 3 and 6. If it's evil in the city, did not the Lord do it? The Lord control all of this stuff. Nobody finna slap you in the face, and he ain't ordained the operation. He operating this thing, man. So for somebody talking about try Jesus, don't try me, something wrong, that don't sit right with me. That part of the Bible don't sit right with me, because you believe in the red dragon, you believe in the devil, you worshiping the devil, believing the crap that he got coming out of his mouth about God love everybody and love the enemies. See, that's where they get this God love everybody from. He love your enemy. He don't say love the heathen. We are the nation of Israel. We never love the heathen and will never love the heathen. It's never gonna happen. And especially not these red dragon Edomites. It's not gonna happen. So these people pushing this something wrong with the Bible because No, it's something wrong with you. You don't understand the Bible. Ain't nothing wrong with the Bible. That's the reason it's not sitting right with you. You want to believe a slave doctrine telling you to love these red dragons who are your enemy spiritually. You couldn't even make them your friend if you wanted to. The Lord gonna keep them your enemy for his will. When you go to Romans 9 lets you know he raised them up to go to war with them, for his people to go to war with them. When you go to Ezekiel 25:14 or 20, I think Ezekiel 25:14, the nation of Israel, he gonna use them to go to war with these people. He not finna let y'all be friends. He not finna let y'all squash the beef. No, it's no squashing the beef. He's setting this situation up so he can use them like he used Pharaoh in Egypt. It's gonna be a war that go down. What he say? He gonna gather the nations. He gonna gather these heathens to go to war with us, the Israelites, when he give us spiritual power. So they gonna try us, but guess what? It's gonna be like they trying Yahushua Mashiach, because that's when he gonna step on the scene. Say, hold on, wait a minute, these my peoples. You see, that's what Joel 3 is all about. He said they gonna try my peoples, and I'm gonna gather they behind together and fight for my peoples, Israel, who they done sold off into slavery. And at the end of it, I'm gonna sell they behind off into slavery in Joel 3 and 8 or 9. So these people don't understand what's going on, thinking that the Bible telling you to let some dragon slap you in the face in the coffee, like Martin Luther King, like Michael King, go in the coffee shop and let these people slap you in the face, and that's a form of protesting. No, there's nothing in the Bible telling you to do that. These dragons telling you to do that, and you're an idiot to do it. But I'm going to leave it there. All praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, and Kakadash. Double honors to the elders pushing the truth. Peace of the elect worldwide. The kingdom is at hand. Shalom.